Anything on the lights? Anything on the lights? Good.
All right, it's 5 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started with our work session for our council meeting at 10 a.m. on Monday next week. First on the agenda is approval of minutes, April 29th, 2024, 5 p.m. council work session, May 6th, 2024, 5:30 p.m. council work session, May 6th, 2024, 6 p.m. council meeting. Any questions? All right, approval of monthly bills, approved April 2024 monthly bills. Any questions? All right, public hearings, ordinance 244584, approved rezoning request 142224, tract of land containing approximately 4.9 acres to be zoned M1 light industry, located at 222 and 223 Beltline Road Northwest. Set public hearing for May 20th, 2024. Tommy?
How y'all doing today? Excuse me.
Good.
This is M&J Precision, and they're requesting to rezone to M1 light industry. The land use is currently light industry, and the Planning Commission approved this zoning March 19th.
All right, any questions? Resolution 24079, approved request for special event retail liquor license by WIT LLC, doing business as JW Steakhouse for the Decatur Morgan County Convention and Visitors Bureau Tourism Bash on May 23rd, 2024, located at 350 Market Street, Northeast, Decatur, Alabama, 35601.
I'm sure y'all noticed this one. This had a change of address. That's the reason it's coming back for you for approval again.
Okay. Any questions? Resolution 24080, approved request for restaurant retail liquor license for James Sec LLC, doing business as The Game at 209 2nd Avenue, Decatur, Alabama, 35601.
This one we're going to have to remove from the agenda because there's going to be some question over a suite number on this one that was divided.
Okay.
So we're going to remove this one.
All right, removing 24080. Any questions? All right, resolutions. Resolution 24081, approve FY 2024 mid-year funding adjustments.
Good evening, Council. Kyle DeMeester, Finance. In front of you is a resolution that contains citywide mid-year adjustments to the budget. Similar to previous years, the mid-year review is required to be presented to Council, and we will discuss the overall performance of the city's finances and any potential adjustments. I first want to address the process that took place to get to this point. The finance staff thoroughly reviewed all department budgets to actual reports, acquiring information from each department for areas that were not tracking with percentage of completion or with seasonality trends. From there, Don Runniger and myself met with the finance staff to accumulate all potential areas of adjustment. In addition, individual non-budgetary items, such as top capital requests, were also compiled to what we call the Priority 2, or P2 list. Once finance had everything documented for presentation, a finance committee meeting took place. This meeting consisted of the mayor, Mr. Ladner, Mr. McMasters, Don Runniger, and myself, all whom serve on this committee and meet quarterly. During this meeting, we reviewed final FY23 revenues and current FY24 revenue performance, project expenditure status, our unassigned fund balance funding source, and lastly, how and what is needed to be and could be adjusted at midyear. The meeting was effective and efficient to properly present to Council as a body today what we think is the best next step for the city operations and several capital requests. So what you should know about the City of Decatur's finances. In FY23, the general fund completed the year with $93.7 million in revenues, up 15% from FY22. Current FY24 general fund revenues are tracking at a 3.27% increase from FY24. Some revenues to highlight with increases are sales and use tax, up 1.8%. This is important to highlight as Decatur is a sales and use tax town. Roughly 53% of our general fund revenues are made up of sales and use tax. Other increases in revenues include gas taxes, investment interest income, lodging tax, and lastly, 6 mills property tax. It would not be wise to highlight the increases and fail to mention areas we are not seeing current FY24 growth. Areas such as the building permit revenues are down 4.5%. An explanation for that is last year we received one individual permit for $400,000 in FY23, skewing the comparison. I do note that even though we have that large discrepancy, we're still at 96% of what we budgeted at the mid-year mark. I give a philosophical take on Decatur economics, but my thought is that Decatur has economically shielded revenue streams. For the most part, you're not buying luxury items in Decatur. We are really good at selling essentials for life, and that plays perfectly with the demographics of our city. So during these economic downfalls, such as recessions or pandemics, where national media deems things doom and gloom, sure, our disposable income shrinks, but you're still buying food for the family, putting gas in the car, and fixing up your home locally with essential goods. Lastly, it's important to note that our unassigned fund balance currently sits at $17.4 million, with $3.2 million proposed in this resolution for the general fund. Now the adjustments. The majority of these mid-year adjustments come with conservative budgeting at original budget time or an emergency type event that has occurred and is in need of adjustment. Some of the more significant adjustments include a fire truck, $1 million. These are currently on a 36 to 40 month lead time, and by the time we receive this vehicle, we will be disposing one of our older vehicles. Street resurfacing, $1 million. The council has traditionally always continued to fund efforts in relation to street resurfacing. Carl Pruitt, our city engineer, is tasked with determining which streets are used, and there is a software to assist in this determination as it relates to road grades. And lastly, a $1.2 million investment into our farmers market. You'll notice the revamp to our downtown farmers market as it undergoes a major upgrade. This is the city's portion of the investment to said project, but I do want to note that the funding source for that project is not the general fund, it's bond proceeds. So it's kind of a lot of information. I know there's a lot of other items that are tagged to the resolution. If there's any questions, I can answer as it relates to the mid-year adjustments.
Any questions? Maybe next week.
Okay.
All right, Resolution 24082, approved fire training tower inspection agreement.
Mayor and Council, Nathan Springer with the Fire Department. This resolution is to enter an agreement with Fire Safety Inspection Services to perform annual inspections of our fire training tower at the training center to stay with NFPA 1403 compliancy.
All right, any questions? All right, Resolution 24083, authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement with Lord Ayek and Sargent for design and cost estimate for Old Bank renovations.
Yes, Alan Stover, Community Development. This is a request that we're bringing to you. We received a past grant from Alabama Historic Commission to assist with this project. So we're just asking that y'all authorize this with LAS to do the design and the cost estimates to what it's going to cost to renovate the Old Bank. I'm sorry.
So the past grant covers the whole cost?
Yes. We've got $450,000, I think, in the past grant. So this will fund this portion, and then we'll have right at $200,000 left to to start the renovation.
Okay. All right. Any questions? Resolution 24084, award bid number 24018 to Superior Irrigation and Landscape for irrigation supplies needed for Jack Allen Fields, being the lowest responsible bidder.
Good evening, Jeremy Sherrill, procurement agent for the city. This is the bid for the list of irrigation supplies and the pump station. The resolution currently listed for Jack Allen, but more specifically, it's for the wider scope, the entire sportsplex needs to be included in that. We recommend Superior Irrigation.
All right, any questions? All right, Resolution 24085, declare surplus of vehicles no longer in use by youth services and environmental departments.
Yes, sir. This is more of the vehicles that have been replaced as the new orders have arrived as part of our fleet update.
All right, any questions? All right, Resolution 24086, approve Don's Mercantile Sidewalk Cafe.
The applicant is requesting that sidewalk cafe at 119 2nd Street. It is done mercantile. The cafe will consist of 2 tables and 4 chairs, and the 5-foot net clearance will be maintained. The Sidewalk Cafe passed the city council passed the planning commission last month, the 23rd, and all of the departments have signed up on it.
All right, any questions? All right, Resolution 24087, approve agreement with DDRA for usage of Artist Alley known as Sunnyside.
I don't see anyone here. Basically, that's the alley that, now, of course, obviously it's called Sunnyside. It's a major project. It allows entertainment. The Arts Center and students are going to be a part of that. Park Recreation would be part if it wants to be some other entity involved, but it's restricted to family entertainment. That's what that does. It just allows an agreement whereby DDRA can facilitate those projects and those activities.
All right, any questions? Resolution 24088, approve agreement with DDRA regarding facilitation of asphalt art intersection.
Yes, that's once again, they're coordinating with the ACA and the students. There would be intersection art. It would be, we would, of course, block off the street while they do it, and then it will just be something that kind of livens up that area around Johnston Street, and the dorms and all that. So it's an exciting project also. DDRA would be the one in coordination with the Arts Center to accomplish that.
All right, any questions? Resolution 24089, agreement with Morgan County Emergency Management Agency regarding Browns Ferry nuclear plant emergencies.
Yeah, that's an agreement with Morgan County EMA that basically just confirms what we're already doing as far as the police department and fire department in case of an emergency at Browns Ferry.
All right, any questions? All right, ordinances first reading. Ordinance 244586, approve street name change from Acra Lane Southeast to Sand Hill Lane Southeast.
This is a street name change for Acra Lane Southeast, and they're requesting to change it to Sand Hill Lane Southeast. They're doing this because they are the only parcel of land that fronts Acra Lane, and they passed the planning commission on April 23rd.
There's no houses on Acra Lane currently.
Currently, no.
All right. Any questions? Boards and committees, appoint James King Jr. to the Mental Health Center of North Central Alabama, Decatur, Morgan County Board, term expiring April 1st, 2030.
Yes, this application came in just a couple of weeks ago, and I received a call from the mayor as well as I talked with Kristen at the Mental Health Center, and she had asked when would be voted on for the board as the prior person has left.
Okay. All right, any questions? All right, anything else to add? Anybody? Okay. All right, we'll move into our public comment section of the agenda. Same rules apply, 3 minutes at a time. Please address the council. And no profanity. First on the list is Elena Daly.
Before we get started, I'm just going to make note of the fact that I won't be at the Monday morning meeting, so I will be out of town.
Okay.
And Aaron, the property that was that's located at that we got for youth services building, I contacted you about mowing that. Spoken with the mayor about that. I think you guys got the perimeter of it, but that thing is overgrown and we're getting rodents in there.
I think that was on Marcus Smiley.
Is it?
Daniel.
Okay, then I'll speak with him. Thank you very much.
I sent it up to Marcus for Thrive to cut. He said it was on the list. Looks like they cut the road frontage and then kind of quit, but they're coming back to finish it.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate it. I'm just getting calls on that, so I appreciate anything with that.
Yes, I can see that.
All right, thanks.
So I had a few things for the mayor because he kind of seems to decide whether he's staying for a little bit of public comment or leaving for some of it. Hunter Pepper, I had a few things for him to see if he was going to stay for public comment because he said he wasn't, to see if he was being pressured to stay for public comment, maybe by you guys, which was what I was kind of hoping for. But yeah, I'm guessing not.
It's up to him.
Y'all aren't gonna ask anybody to do anything humanitarian. Y'all keep saying that we come up here and are saying nothing different. Most of us are being ignored, but something new happens in your police department every week. Every week, they're violating another policy. Every week, they're doing something they're not supposed to be doing. And every week, we come in here and we ask, hey, what's going on with this officer? What's going on with this officer? It originally started with 4 officers that we had issues with because they violated policy, which has been confirmed by the city that they violated policy because they were terminated or suspended. So obviously they violated policy. So why is it so hard for us to get answers on the ones that are violating policy still within this police department against protesters? So I hope you guys came prepared to answer some questions, because I just have a few. McMasters, when you led the city council meeting that you led a couple weeks ago, you didn't do a prayer or a pledge. I know it's not necessarily required, right?
It was a work session.
Same as today.
So it's not required, but you didn't do it.
Right.
I also have a question for you. Are you upset that you couldn't de-escalate the problems between one of your coworkers and a constituent in order for one last person to speak?
Yeah, I didn't like having to end it early, especially with one person left. You're right.
Yeah, because I mean, you had already told Mr. Pepper that he could go outside with another constituent if he wanted to continue to argue, but you didn't feel the need to say that same thing to him when it came to another constituent so that one last constituent could speak.
Okay.
Okay. That's not a response. I'm deep that the one can
talk to Justin.
I'm not asking you to talk to Justin. I'm telling you what the rest of your city saw, what the rest of your constituents saw. Because I'm making a point at the end of this. I hope you understand this. I'm not just speaking to speak. Yeah. Leonard, people are telling you to stop public comment. And then there are, I guess, us. What are we?
Public.
So there's public telling you to stop public comment, and there's public here. So who's going to vote for you?
Doesn't matter to me.
Great, good, because we don't want to.
I couldn't care less who votes for me or doesn't.
That makes sense, being up here and acting the way that you do.
That's fine.
I just want to know, so Jack Brown, after assaulting a woman and bragging about it not only in person at the Morgan County Jail, but also on Facebook, what reprimands did he face?
I don't know.
Great. Lieutenant Renshaw, Joe, after escalating, threatening, since y'all love to talk about threats, and antagonizing citizens of Decatur at a free, family-friendly event, what reprimands did he face?
I don't know. We did hit 3 minutes.
I'm asking for some time for just a second.
She can have mine.
So you don't know if these officers have faced consequences for violating policy. That we have, as constituents, have come up here and told you several times that this is what's happening. So my next question to you is, what is violence? This shouldn't take out of my time from silence from you when I ask a question. What is violence? Again, this shouldn't take out of my time when I get silence from my government when I ask you a question. What is violence to you?
It could be physical or verbal.
Okay? What constitutes violence? Should violence be met with violence? Should violence be met with violence?
I'll say no. It should not be. And violence is just an act of aggression towards another person. So
When Officer Jack Brown tackled a woman on a sidewalk, that was considered violence. So should her response have been to punch Jack Brown with violence? I'll go ahead and answer that because I don't want to waste any more time on my silence. No, because why? He's a police officer. But why shouldn't Jack Brown tackle Sierra Taylor on a sidewalk? Because she is a citizen. She's a civilian. She's a peaceful protester. I don't know if you know what's going on around our country. I guess that's taken a little bit more of my time, why I can't be here more with you guys to talk for no reason. But there are protests going on around our country, at universities, at the Ivy Leagues, Harvard, MIT, Columbia. I don't know if y'all failed to realize this, but I'm a college student. My university is currently engaged in protests. And currently, students, over 600 of them, have been arrested at protests on their own campuses that they pay tuition for. Does that ring a bell? Does that make any coincidence for you guys? Your taxpayers are being arrested on your sidewalks for disorderly conduct. Same thing these students are being arrested for, disorderly conduct. Obstruction of governmental operations. Can anybody explain to me what that is? Because I questioned an officer, I should go to jail. You know, there is a man running around Decatur right now who is slashing tires, who has warrants out for his arrest, who has protection orders against him, and Decatur PD has come in contact with him and not arrested him. But if I, and me personally, Elena Daly, if I step a foot on Line Street, what happens to me? Because DPD is already looking for me. Where are your priorities? Where are they at? You say we come up here, we're not saying anything different, but we are. Same demands. Not even really demands. We're asking. This police department is not being led. They're doing whatever they want to. So why does the person still leading them get to keep a job?
We just hit second 3 minutes. Terrence.
Why does the person who is standing there saying, do not put Catrella Perkins in handcuffs, as Joe Renshaw puts Catrella Perkins in handcuffs? Why does Todd Pinion get to keep his job? When it's obvious that his officers are not listening. Now let me guess, that's something we've said already, right? That's something we've already said? Yeah. Yeah, because it keeps happening, because it's different officers. Because at first, it was, who was it? Oh yeah, Lieutenant Lindley, downtown, screaming and yelling at protesters with alcohol on his breath. Then it was Lieutenant Harton, at the mayor's house. Then it was my fan favorite, Sean Muckadam, who said on his body cam that he knew I had the arrest records of his brother seconds before he arrested me. But our police department is being run by the right man, by a man you all support. I have a family. I have kids. I got put in jail for way too long. It terrifies me to come up here. I've been staying away. Scared. Government at 22 years old. Because of therapy in jail. They asked me what was standing up for something that I think is and I'm punished. My parents were a little rough on me. They spanked me because I ran out in the road, because I touched a stove when it was hot, because I did things that were wrong and they were trying to keep me safe. I protest on a sidewalk and I get thrown in handcuffs. For whose safety?
Thank you.
again, I'm gonna start this off the way I always start this off. We've been here for 8 months, and nothing has changed. Our police department is still being ran by Todd Pinion. They're still doing things, the road cops out there, and we still haven't seen a change. I heard McMaster say a while back that there's a plan. Well, this plan does not include us. This plan that's been created by somebody else, that's been pushed down toward us, is not a good plan. We have been here for 8 months. The person or people that created this plan have not stood out here not one time. All we're asking is that you all, and I'm not talking about just you all, but your police department, do not kill us. We want to live like everybody else. I want to breathe like everybody else. So when it comes down to a plan that maybe some quote unquote African Americans created, that's not our plan. And that's not the plan that we're going to go with. Now, we kind of made this meeting not be a lot of people for a reason, because you don't ever want to tear that your community up and all that kind of stuff. But there's a leak in this old building, and that person has got to move. We're not going to settle for Todd not being here. We're not going to settle for Todd to stay here, excuse me. We want him gone. And we want changes to this police department. I'm going to say it loud and clear, so it'll be on the microphone. Murphy Brown do not run this black community. We have leaders, and we're a younger generation, and we're not going to settle for what MDA has. We have a plan already that we have went over during council meeting. Anissa have said something to you all. We're not going for that plan. There will be no ceasefire until you all sit down and listen to our plan. Again, MDA does not make the plans for African Americans. Everything black is not always black.
Thanks, Mike. Anissa.
I just wanted to ask, I start with you, McMasters, do you think there should be a public safety board led by the chief?
The public safety board led by the chief. So you're saying the chief being over police and fire?
I'm saying, say it again?
So the chief of police being over police and fire, because public safety is police, fire, EMS.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, there's a civilian review board. It can also be called a public safety board, a citizens review board. It has many names. When it comes to the public safety of this community, of this city, do you think a board appointed and led by the chief is a good idea?
I think that's what we've had to this point. No, it is. We've had a citizens review board for a long time.
Can you tell me how long?
I'm not sure how long it is. I know it's been in place for 6
Okay, it was created in 2019, and after Chief Nate Allen left, it was dissolved. It didn't continue to be active. It didn't start back being active until Steve Perkins was killed, and Todd Pinion had to claim that he was doing something, so he started back having board meetings, but it's not been effective for more than 6 months at all. Out of the overall start of it has not been effective. Okay. So do you think any board regarding the public safety of this community should be appointed and led by the chief?
I think it would probably be more beneficial if it was appointed in conjunction with, but not solely by, because I could see where the optics of that could look. Oh, well, the chief's just picking who he wants to pick to do what he wants to do, and I don't think that's the intent at all.
Okay, thank you. What about you, Jacob?
Yeah, I think, let me pause you. I think if he wants to have his own internal board, that's on him, but I do think there should be a board that is made up of citizens that's appointed by someone, not the chief.
Okay, thank you. What do you think, Mr. Jacob?
You know, we've had this conversation over and over again, and he's saying, my concern is the chief picking his own board. My concern is also this council choosing a board. I think politics get involved. So the conversation that you and I have had is I do think that there needs to be a board. I don't know the mechanism by which we choose that board so that it's fair and that it's productive. It's just not a board that meets without any real direction. So that's the conversation you and I have had, and I still don't know that I have the answer to that at this particular point.
I do think, though, sorry to
No, it's okay.
come backwards. I get the politics piece, but it certainly seems better than the person running the department picking their own
I agree with
board
that.
if it's an oversight.
I agree with that. I just, I don't know that it's good for a person who heads a department to pick that board at all, but neither do I think it's productive for us for this council to choose.
Maybe it depends on how many and how it's made up, which we don't know. So.
Okay, thank you.
I would, I think you want good representation of your community. Like what Jacob said, I don't know that the best option is to have the chief. I would support looking at another way to do that and have a point. How we do that would be a discussion we need.
Advisory. Do you think the committee should have to law enforcement do you think they should have proper training?
I do. I mean, we require, folks on the Architectural Review Board to have, there's training done by the state so they can serve on that board, the historic board.
Right.
I'm not sure what other boards, Herman, you may know.
Planning Commission at one point.
Planning Commission required it.
Board of Zoning Adjustment.
Board of Zoning, so there are boards that require training in order to serve on.
What you think, Jacob?
Yes, but also think that may not have that would be a good board member to understand exactly what that looks like. So I say 100% everybody sort of training for a board like that's fine, but with public safety every day.
What you think, Mr.?
I think that if they're going to serve on the board, they might not have the prior training, but I do think that they need post-training. Otherwise, all the decisions are
right.
It's just, what I feel.
Right.
It's not based on any sort of objective measure. So I think, yes, they do need training.
Right. What you think, Mike?
I think any chance you have a board made up of people to educate, better train them on the issues that they're dealing with, it is better. I think that's why other boards have had that in place.
Okay.
But I don't know that I would say it has to be a requirement because there would likely be some people that would want to do that have a working knowledge. But I think it needs to be an available opportunity if it's out there.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Anissa. Catrella Perkins? No. Okay. Tommy Cook?
How's it going, guys?
Good.
We've been doing this for like 7-8 months now. It seems like every week we come in and drill you guys on different topics and different subjects or whatnot. TAP has yet to stay for a whole meeting. Last meeting, I even challenged you guys to hold him accountable. You guys got to stay forward. You know what I'm saying? He should want to stay as well. That's only being accountable, and that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. Accountability. Sometimes, when the captain abandoned the ship, everyone else had to take up and, guide the ship along, right? So being that you guys should hold some type of accountability, a young man said a couple of weeks ago that you guys can have your own investigative committee, saying that you guys can bring a third party in to investigate our police department or whatnot, that you guys have that power to do that. Have you guys done anything like that as of yet? Have you investigated?
Do you want to?
I mean, individual agent, and I'll be fair, to share that, but I think that every person can do it on their own.
I did get one.
But I think that we can find them. It's just a matter of bringing them together and us deciding which to use. So yes, I've looked at several and spoken with several.
Well, that's great. One of the things that, we should look more into, first of all, do you guys meet? Like, have you guys met together as a group?
We only can do that in this setting.
Are you?
It's against the law.
It's a law.
Okay, well, I understand that. Yeah. But, that was one of the things that, I guess it kind of bothered me that, that something that at this magnitude is happening in this city, we should have more planning, right? We should, have more things, sought out to make sure it doesn't happen again. And what we're hearing every week is that we have citizens in this city that's being targeted by our police department. And that's something that we must address. You know what I'm saying? It's something that we, have to address. You being the police liaison, it's something that you should come every week with a report of saying what it is that you guys are working on, what it is that you guys address. If we can call a meeting with Todd and have an emergency meeting with him, I'm sure you as being the police liaison can have that same meeting with Todd or whatnot, so that you can have something to give back to the community. Last week I was saddened on this the last meeting that we had our intellectual disability community here, begging for support. We have to hear the cries of the people, right? And we have to, govern that way. Have crying out for help. Is every week someone gets up on this podium and they cry out for God's help. Whatever you guys could do to help, not only this community, to Steve, but also the intellectual community or whatnot. That's why you're here, to make sure that this city operates as a whole and not just certain whatever. So that's all I have to say.
Julie, I think. Sarah French.
Request of y'all tonight. And this coming Friday is the third Friday. Anything that you can do or what we can do to ensure we don't get attacked this time? And I'm being serious because it was one of the worst nights I've had.
I do think, in my opinion, communication has been bad from our side from the beginning of this. I do think communication can be helpful. If there's something planned, I heard a lot about, hey, we were planning on doing this, it was going to be quick, and I'm not saying anything that happened after that was right. Okay, I'm not saying that, but all I'm saying is if there's something like that that's going to be planned, that's just to recognize, bring awareness, I think maybe that would be helpful. But that's my one guy's opinion, and that's nobody else but me.
Somebody I've had to know that the people can't hear online.
Okay.
We'll just have to go on, but.
So it's only, so can you possibly speak with Pinion and ask not to attack us, because we should have a right to be there just as much as anyone else down there.
Yes.
So in the next 4 days, can each of you reach out to him and say,
I will.
They might choose to be back down there and we need to treat them the same as every other Decatur citizen. Sure. Because if I'm down there, I will have my shirt on and I will have a 3-year-old with me. So I'd rather them not attack us this time. Also, one last request is if any of you at all would like to, I would like someone to find out about the investigation from the last third Friday, because it's been a full month. So we something because us agreed that something wrong, policies, procedures were broke, And you can message me personally. We've all done that before. But I think we need answers on the inappropriate behavior that was done that night. Since it's been a full month, that's plenty of time to know if any action has been took against anybody that night, especially for what happened to Ms. Perkins.
Thanks, Sarah. Sierra Taylor.
So I really had a question for Hunter, but of course he's not here today. So I'll ask y'all. Do y'all have access to jail footage? Like the inmates in jail? Are y'all supposed to have access to that? Like that's something you can call up a friend at the jail and say, hey, let me have this?
I'm not aware of anything like that, no.
Did each one of y'all hear Hunter Pepper tell my husband at the last city council meeting, I saw your footage from the jail?
I didn't
were
hear
you
that.
walking then? Because I saw the footage from jail. Did y'all?
I don't think I caught that, but I can go back and listen.
It's on there. I mean, I heard it when I went back and watched, so it's on there. So my question is, we can't get answers about anything that's happening to us. Like, I still have no answers about what's going on with Jack Brown. It's been a month and a half. I still have no answers about that. And yet Hunter Pepper can get jail footage of the night my husband was arrested from last Friday. I mean, you know, if there's some inside doings going on here, then that should probably be stopped.
The jail is run by the county,
yeah.
and I don't know the details of how he would have obtained that. But
yeah, that's kind of what I figured is that's another Hunter thing that he shouldn't have access to, but did. My next thing is, I just kind of want to let y'all know that at this point, any further assaults or, God forbid, murders at the hands of Decatur police, I feel like it's just as much on y'all's hands. Because y'all refuse to get rid of the chief. And since y'all are refusing to get rid of him just because he's a friend and get someone that can control these officers in, then y'all are just as much to blame. And by y'all, I do not mean you, Mr. Jackson, because you are the one that's saying, let's get rid of him. But the rest of y'all are kind of just as much to blame because you could get rid of Todd and get someone that can do it. But you won't. Like, I get being someone's friend. I get upholding someone. But wrong is wrong. And someone that can't do a job is someone that can't do a job. And that's what we've got going on here. And like, I watched I'm not sure what she was, maybe a sergeant or something from Hartsville Police Department talking about they're having a hard time hiring officers. And the reason they're having a hard time hiring officers is because they have such high standards and things that they have to go through before they can become a police officer. She said, because when you start putting warm bodies in just to fill the spots, that's when things start going terribly wrong. I feel like that's a lot of what's going on with Decatur City because I see new bodies all the time. And I know that all these people are not, most of them are not even old enough to have the right training yet. Like, they don't even have the knowledge of life, really. So, I mean, I feel like that definitely something needs done, something's got to be done. But from now on, understand that the blood is just as much on y'all's hands.
thank you. Derek, do you? Yes, okay. Ms. Godwin, okay. Anything else from council? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.